So it's no secret that our friends over at Hardware Unboxed are very anti-tuning or anti-overclocking. Now they are going so far as to say, apparently, that tuning is actually grifting. So we need to go see what they actually said and see if it's the truth or misinformation. I think it is a fear of being exposed. I think it is. I think that's probably the biggest one. If he let me look at his PC after the Windows Update 30% video, I would have known right away it was memory integrity that he did that, which he didn't know about, which shows his incompetence. The Gear 2 one shows his incompetence. The AMD Fine Wine one shows his incompetence. Again, the Windows one should have been the one where he lost his entire subscriber base, because that one you can test for free. So that one's interesting because it's like, if you install this Windows version, you get 30% performance. Why didn't the million people go and test that right away? And then saw it was bullshit. What the fuck? Why didn't that happen? Like, nobody questioned it. That was what, dude, that was insane. It's like, I was like, as soon as he posted that, I'm like, that's it. He fucking coffined his own nail or whatever, right? I'm like, video cards shared it on their website. I'm like, Tom's Hardware fucking shared it on their website. I'm like, there's no fucking chance. I was like, there's no way. Nobody tested it. It's like, holy fuck. That was the wildest one. The fucking Windows Update one was the wild. Because an AMD graphics card, sure, you gotta buy it and you have to have the pre-press driver so he can like denial cope that one. The Windows version one though, that was an open fucking door for anybody to test his claims and to find out he's a fraud. Anybody. And nobody did.
You know, going through that process, loop after loop after loop, only to end up with maybe at best like single digits, 10% sort of improvement for gaming. What you're better off doing is, especially if you've got a part that's not the fastest part on the market, is selling your hardware.
Oh, here it is.
And buying the fastest product that you can get and running it stock. And if there's any discrepancy in price or whatever, work a couple of hours of overtime at your job.
That kind of thing is insane cope. A 9800X 3D is vastly superior to a 1400K in multiple different ways. There's no comparison to be made there. I will just say though,
Sons of the Forest, Rift Breaker, Total War Warhammer, Arc Raiders? What the hell? What? What other games? Rust? What other games did I even test?
You know, overclocking what it...
This is rough. Yeah, this is rough. So this is yeah, Factorio. Factorio is very specific, though. You have to have a large map for that to... But yeah, Factorio, if you try, yeah, Factorio. The other one was the Company of Heroes. RTS titles, basically, right?
Which is,
yeah,
once a way to get a budget part and get it to the mid-range or close to the high end, and that was the whole appeal. Back in the day, you weren't really buying the top end Pentium.
Yeah, they're just lying to people. That's kind of so it's malicious. It's like they're really, so basically they told a 16-year-old kid with a 12,700K or a 12,600K, they told him, just work more hours, Timmy, instead of learning how to tune. Just go work more hours at your paper route, Timmy.
Pentium 2, Pentium 3, and then overclocking that. Some people certainly did.
And you also cannot run the fastest parts out of the box because they will degrade on you. It's just funny.
but the draw card for most was safe.
Yeah, run your 14,900K out of the box for a few months and see what happens, even with the new BIOS updates.
Saving the money to then achieve.
That's really bad advice. So it's like work more hours at your paper route to go buy a faster CPU that you can't run out of the box because it will die on you. Okay.
It's kind of like they want to be seen as the expert. They know better than you. They've achieved these amazing results, and we've sort of talked about it before. It's like kind of, it's more
Reminds
like
me of like small man syndrome, you know?
yeah, it's like really narcissistic.
Yeah.
And to be fair, a lot of the guys that I've watched,
I'm not sure if he's talking about me, to be honest. There might be somebody else out there doing this. Doesn't sound because I always tell people to test it. The thing about hardware, the reason why this argument doesn't make much sense is because hardware is something you can test yourself at home. It's not like it's not something that's like theoretically debatable in terms of like a belief system. Like the earth is flat, I know the truth, and you have to believe me. And you can't really like validate the person's claims. Do you know what I'm saying? Hardware, you 100% can, though. You buy the exact same hardware, you run the exact same settings, and you get the exact same results. It's not like yeah, he's talking about it as if it's like a belief system and not a something that I can test myself to validate system. It's like health and fitness too. It's like this is the best diet plan. Well, okay, I can test that myself and verify if this person's claims are true or not. That's the nice thing about hardware. The nice thing about hardware is that you can test it yourself and see who's full of shit or not, right? That's kind of where this doesn't really make any sense.
that are very toxic about this show extreme narcissistic tendencies. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the guys that are in tech
I wonder if he's talking about like Twitter optimizers.
that have
Because I have seen that too. Like the Twitter optimizers, the guys that like do the frame gen scams, they'll do like they're like 16-year-old kids though. They're like fucking weirdos though. But they do like, I have the best settings, don't believe anybody else. And they use like the words secret sauce. Like, I have the sauce. Like, do you know what I'm fucking saying? Like, if Steve is talking about those guys, I 100% agree. That shit is fucking ridiculous. I'm that's what I'm assuming who he's talking about, because like there is a lot of that going on, a lot, right? The secret sauce bros. With what Tim was saying, Tim worded it very poorly, but what he actually meant was time cost analysis. That's why I have the products that I have, right? So like, yeah, why would you spend 6 months in a BIOS screen learning from Reddit misinformation and all that nonsense when you can just pay me $500, work an extra few hours, pay me $500, you're done, you're gaming? Or you just buy the course, you get it done in 2 months, and you've learned everything and you're out and you're gaming, kind of thing, right? I think what I don't like is that's not applicable to like kids and like teenagers. And the time cost analysis argument is applicable to people that are adults that have careers and stuff. But it's not applicable to just buying faster products, though. It doesn't work that way. as you've seen and with the Borderlands and shit and Arc Raiders, you buy the fastest and all you get is frame gen dips all over the place, right? You still have to tune. The other thing about this whole tuning argument is if going back to his Battlefield benchmarks for a sec, disabling E-cores is one button in the BIOS though. And if had he have disabled his E-cores on his, it's one button, right? Do you call that tuning or like I guess what I would say is, where's the bar for what's considered tuning or not, right? So if just disabling E-cores gives your 14900K an extra like 80 watts of headroom for the P cores, and you get like, I haven't tested it, but if you get like, 20% more FPS with less power draw, well, now you just tuned your CPU for the game that you want to play. Technically, you tuned it, but it's one button, disable E-cores or E-core quantity 0. So yeah, you tuned your machine to run your game better. Yeah, in 2025, you can't run any CPU out of the box except the 9800X3D and the 7800X3D. Or yeah, you could use X2 to disable E-cores, yeah. But that's what I'm saying though. What do we consider tuning and not tuning? So like if I make a video that's like the Battlefield optimization guide, which I still have to do, I was going to put that in the video. What I was going to say is like make sure you have a power draw meter for your CPU and afterburner and your temperature. Disable E-cores, check again. Disable hyperthreading, check again. Because that's the fastest way to reduce power draw without losing too much FPS. Right, so you're tuning your CPU for Battlefield, but it's just like one toggle at a time in XTU or your BIOS, right? So is that considered tuning? Maybe, right? When you run a 9950X3D and you have game bar enabled, and game bar is parking half your cores off, that's tuning. Like the AMD driver is trying to do the tuning for you by parking those cores. That's what that is. It's just that, and then the Intel APO shit does the same thing. You install Intel APO and it disables the E-cores when you launch a game, or parks them, sorry. So it's trying to do, all these manufacturers are doing various things to try to do the tuning for you, because they know it doesn't work. It wouldn't work if you left it up to Windows, right? So I would argue, what's the difference between disabling E-cores on a BIOS screen versus using like Windows APO to do it? One's a software solution and one's you doing it yourself solution. So I don't like that he's like making fun of he's basically saying that like letting software do it is a better option than doing it yourself, which is wrong again, because Battlefield specifically bypassed all the software solutions. So again, my video that I made where Battlefield was the beginning of the end, you can not play Battlefield with high-end CPUs without tuning them. When I say tune, I mean at minimum disabling the E-cores or disabling the other CCD. You cannot run Battlefield without tuning it, period. So, because it bypasses all of the auto software solutions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can play it and run it. It will run like utter dog shit. Why would you? So the other thing is like, if you bought a 14900K and one toggle in the BIOS to disable E-cores makes Battlefield run that much better, why would you not want to do that? It's like, why would you be stubborn about leaving them on? What's the goal? The goal is to play Battlefield, right? XMP is a fucking nightmare, though. No, I mean, I went after motherboard manufacturers for that one because the QVL lists. If they're talking about XMP, then okay, I agree again. No, but disabling E-cores and hyper-threading only increases stability. Enabling XMP can drastically decrease your stability. So they're not quite the same thing, right? I appreciate you shouting out dads and work. Fuck yeah, dude, of course. You mean the regular guy? Yeah, man. The absolutely. Not all people that enjoy hardware and gaming have time for any of this shit, dude. Absolutely. What we were talking about before, about how to know who to listen to and who to believe, I haven't heard them say a single time that the audience should test it themselves. I haven't heard them say it once. That's the biggest red flag. So they are giving shit to the, I'm assuming they're giving shit to the optimization bros that are like, I have the secret sauce, don't believe anybody else, here are all my vouchers. Which those guys are fucking idiots too, because those guys don't tell you to test it yourself either, do they? But at the same time, they're being a little hypocritical because they're not telling their audience to test it themselves. So you can't be like, the optimizer bros are grifters with the secret sauce, but also we don't want you to test it yourself either. So those guys are grifters, but believe us, don't test it yourself. Their position would be much stronger and solidified if they told their audience, go buy it and find out yourself. It was such a shock, in fact, that I stopped and questioned every tech tuber I've ever watched. Goal achieved, baby. That is my goal. That's my goal. Let me read that one more time. It was such a shock, in fact, that I stopped and questioned every tech tuber I ever watched. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I want from the entire hardware space. Back to watching this. That's all I want. That's literally why I made this channel. Yes. Question the information that you are being told. Test it yourself to verify the information that you are being told. Once you do those two things, you will see the light. Do that for everything in life. Question, test. Question, test. Then be like, holy shit. When you question it and you test it, you quickly find who is fucking full of shit and who is looking out for your best interest. That's it. It's as simple as that. These are the exact same thing I described you in a hub chat recently. Dude, I love that no matter where Hardware Unboxed does or goes, I'm always in this fucking chat. It's like this fucking dude, I'm like this fucking cockroach. Dude, no matter how much he tries to squash the fucking cockroach, he can't get rid of me, man. I ain't never going nowhere. It's fucking hilarious. I ain't even doing anything too. It's the comments section. It's the other people that are doing that shit. And I actually tell people, don't even bother going to other, I encourage people to just stay in our own little circle. It's just fucking hilarious, dude. It's so funny. When I say for those of us, I mean people that just own I have a 285K over here streaming right now. I got a 14900K in this PC that I play games on because it performs the best in the games that I play. If I was a sim racer and I played Forza, if I played Forza and Assetto Corsa with like a steering wheel, you best fucking believe I would use a 3D chip because that thing performs substantially better in those games than a 14900K does, right? So it's like, for those of us that own all the hardware, we don't see the like, my CPU is better than yours because we own it all. Like, people seem to associate like my 9800X3D is better than yours is Jufus. It's like, I own that CPU too, man. What the hell? I have it right there. I have a 9070 XT right here. I own every graphics card. I don't know what the hell? It's like I think people forget that we own everything. There doesn't always have to be a conspiracy theory or an agenda. So like I have a 285K. It kind of sucks for gaming, so I threw it in my workstation. Now for me, it's still, I don't like it, it's still worth it to meet up with people on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist in order to sell shit that I don't need. Because if I can get top dollar for the 9950X while I can, I'm going to want to do that because I don't want to hold on to it. I also don't have the space. These guys, the time cost analysis for these guys is they would probably lose money dicking around on Facebook Marketplace trying to sell their old shit. So they just have like a warehouse full of fucking parts. And it's like that's what I don't think I don't think there's a conspiracy theory here, man. I think it's literally like we have all these fucking parts and there's just shit everywhere. And I'm going to put this here and I'm going to put this here. Like that's what I think it is. I don't think it's like, it's not like, I have this 9950X 3D here and I have this over here. I secretly like this one better, but I don't think it's like that, man. It's more like they're allocating their hardware to where it makes the most sense to use. Because what like if he took his 9800X 3D and brought it home to play games with, what would he benchmark with then? If he makes a 12900K benchmark video, nobody watches it. So put the 12900K at home. I'll play games on that one. Leave the 9800X. Does that make sense? Am I explaining this properly? Leave the 9800X 3D so I can benchmark it at the studio. It's not a malicious thing. The only thing that I disagreed with was the thing that Tim said where it's like, just work more hours to buy the top end hardware. You can't do that because the top end hardware degrades itself. AMD and Intel. The top end hardware degrades itself, so you actually can't run that hardware out of the box. You have to tune it. So that's actually misinformation. And I also don't like that they didn't take in the perspective of a 25-year-old and below who might not have a very high income to just work more hours and buy the better thing. Sometimes all they have, because I was in that situation back in the day when I played CS, and I was on a CS team back in the day, I had to learn how to, I couldn't work more hours at fucking McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's when I was 16, flipping burgers. I had to learn how to overclock my shit so that I could get more frames to play CS competitively. So you can tell that they were never in that situation. So that was a very disconnected take of Tim. That was bad. And I disagree with that there's only single digit or 10% in the tank. That's totally wrong. You can get up to like 25% on some Intel CPUs. Like fucking massive. You can get up to like, what was it? It was the last AMD CPU I tested. You can get up to like 15% on an AMD 3D chip. You can get up to like 15% on even that one too, right? So there's a lot of gains to be made there. So that I disagreed with that. I disagreed with how long it takes to tune the machine. Somewhat. Because disabling E-cores, disabling the other CCD for Battlefield is tuning, and it takes 5 seconds. So that was kind of misinformation as well. But that's all I really disagreed with. Everything else was...
I've bought is superior to what you've bought, and so I will prove it by...
Yeah, everything else I agree with. Like the Twitter optimizer bros, the secret sauce bros, the comment section bros, the I did these benchmarks and I want to argue with you bros. I agree with everything they fucking said. Just get the fuck out. Like, we don't have time for that shit, man. There's no time for that shit. So tuning is very much a thing, though. They might have, these guys might have that opinion right now. Again, Battlefield was just the beginning, but as more games come out like Battlefield, like Borderlands, like Arc Raiders wasn't too bad, but like as more of these games come out where they just like ignore software solutions and ram power draw into your CPU and shit, you're gonna have to tune it. You're gonna have to. Or when Nova Lake comes out and there's 3 different types of cores. When the 9950 X3D2 comes out, that one might be worse if you leave both CCDs on because it has double the cache. We don't know. That one might even... We'll find out. Anyway, I'll update the course when that thing fucking comes out anyway. But anyway, all right, I got to get going here, guys. That was a long ass stream.